Okay, folks, this is a short video on the inverse function. Some of you are messing up on the quiz, and let me try to address that issue. Okay, I'm calling this inverse function watch out questions. So let's take a moment and look at this graph right here at the left. Okay, hold on, let me try to get it. Remember, this is the graph of y is equal to x squared. Question, is it a function? Is it a function? Well, it passes the vertical line test, so it is a function, okay? Does it have an inverse function? Well, if you use a horizontal line test, you know that it's crossing here and there, so you know for sure that does not have an inverse. Now, let's take a look at this next function over here to the right. Does this function have an inverse? Now, that is a loaded question. We know from the vertical line test that it's not even a function. So please beware of the wording of the questions. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. Now, let's go into this a little deeper. Also, please remember that in your material, especially, let me see if I can get that over here, so if it's possible. Let's see, hold on here. Okay, in your reading material 4.10.5, this information is in there, and if you do the problems, you'll see it, so just be mindful of that. Okay, I went back and somehow I erased my whiteboard, so that's not good, but anyway, I'm just going to start writing here. Okay, so let's just take a look here. All right, here's a function, okay? Remember, what is this? This is y equals x squared, but it's just the right part where x is greater than 0. Does that make sense? Okay, does this have an inverse function? Why, if we go through the process of switching the variables, we get something that looks like this, okay? So y is equal to the square root of x, and that function looks like this, okay? So that is a function. So yes, only if we limit the domain of a function like a parabola can we have an inverse function. All right, someone says, can you give me a couple of examples like from the book? Okay, here's one right here. Okay, number one, does this have an inverse function? Well, we're saying f, so we're assuming it's a function. We know that that's the cubic function, okay? Matter of fact, it's moved to the right 1 and up 2, okay? So to the right 1 and up 2. Okay, question, does this pass the vertical line test? Yes. Does this pass the horizontal line test? Yes, so it has a function. All right, now this next problem is where some people are getting stuck. What about this? Does this function have an inverse? And if you know the answer to that, you got it. Well, let's see. We know it's a quadratic. We just reviewed quadratics don't have inverses unless you limit the domain. What if I'm kind of a graph person? Okay, so if I'm a graph person, it's a parabola moved what? To the right 2 and up 5. Okay, now that is the original function. All right, so let's ask a question here. Does the original function, is it a function? Well, yes, it passed the vertical line test. We already get that. Does it have an inverse? Well, good question. Does it pass the horizontal line test? The answer is no. So question, if you did this problem out longhand and found the actual function, it would be what? It would be x minus 5 square root of that. That's plus and minus, and then it's going to be plus 2. Well, we know that that would be the inverse function. We know that that is not going to work, okay? That has a plus and minus, so that is not a function. Hopefully all of these things together help you understand the more detailed questions so that you can get 100 on your quiz. Okay, if what I did is extremely confusing, that means you haven't read through the lesson. So please take time to do that. I am invested in your success. This is going to require you to take a little time to slow down. There's a lot laid out for you. You could do it, okay? Best wishes.